today's jargon term, get ready, fasten your seatbelts, right? It's going to get bumpy. Single case agreement. Hello, I'm sorry. When I decided to be a parent, I did not know that I was going to have to learn a bunch of jargon that had to do with autism and psychology. And nobody mentioned that there was going to be insurance jargon that I was going to have to wade through also. Now, if they had told me, I still would have signed up to be my son's parent, but I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have lit my hair on fire. Single case agreement. Doesn't that just make you shake in your shoes? Let's see if we can tear it down a little bit. We always like to start jargon with an actual definition. So here's our actual definition of single case agreement. An agreement between a provider and an insurance carrier in which they agree to provide services for just one specific person. Okay, it's an okay definition, but I don't really know how this helps me. Let's move on to our working definition. Single case agreement is a way in which you get the insurance company to look at your child as an individual instead of being tied to rules that are rigid. This is a really important thing to know because I believe that sometimes getting what you need happens from asking and knowing what the right question is to ask, right? So we're in open enrollment period for almost everybody right now. Everybody's trying to figure out what the insurance thing is. I want to remind you, Bryce Myler is going to be here next Tuesday, the second hour, full hour, taking on the insurance. If you haven't made your decisions about your open enrollment, you're going to want to send in your insurance questions and tune in. Bryce is going to answer questions live on the show next Tuesday, an autism insurance expert. So, and she'll talk to us about single case agreement. But what we see with insurance is that, it's this document that comes and there are rules and there's graphs and there's columns and tables saying, that does cover this, it doesn't cover this provider, not this provider, right? But there is something called a single case agreement. So you may be told, oh, well, your provider doesn't, your insurance provider doesn't have this particular ABA provider in network. So you'd have to pay out of network rates, right? Which you think, oh, well, I just can't do that. So you move on to the next provider. Except that the little asterisk after everything is that there is something called a single case agreement. So if your insurance isn't working for you for whatever reason, and a lot of times the reason why single case agreement happens is because of location and access to services. Because if your insurance provider doesn't have a provider that can take you on, that does what their insurance says that it will cover in network, then they will, in many cases, do a single case agreement with somebody who is out of network for you to get those services. A lot of people have been able to use a single case agreement to get what they need. And if you didn't know that you could ask for this, how would it ever occur to you? So for anybody who is out there who has insurance woes, and you think, well, I'd really like to be here or do this. A lot of times what we see, people will say to me, well, I wanted to be with Card, but Card isn't in network. Just make sure that you've explored this avenue because many people can get a single case agreement. As more ABA providers are becoming online and they're able to take on clients, we're seeing less and less of this, so you need to know that. But for instance, if you're being told, well, your insurance covers ABA, and you go to all the ABA providers that are in your area that are in network, and all of them tell you that it's a 6-month to a year waiting list, your insurance then will make a single case agreement if you ask for it and fight for it for you to get a provider that doesn't have a waiting list. So get your good quality ABA and get it immediately. Use the single case agreement. This is some good jargon worth knowing. Single case agreement.